This is Micah chapter 2, verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with the sore destruction. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Yashim, Yahweh Shai by Yashim, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutation unto the hopeful elect, the 1/3 of Yashar Allah, upholding the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability. Peace and salutations. This is the brother Bakwasha. And I just want to cover a couple quick precepts. Watch this video. Got me pretty fired up in the spirit. Obviously, we know that this place is not our rest and that this place is polluted. And as the scriptures say, it shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction. But the means and the methods in which Esau, the so-called white man, are doing these things, he's made them acceptable to the masses to where no one has any concern about it. You know, there could be documentaries about it. I think one of the most famous ones that I know of is called The Devil We Know, and goes into the 3M company and basically how they have put plastics all throughout the earth, you know, and these plastics are a slow death of people. And I ran across this video, and I'm gonna play it. But the ultimate pollution is Esau, the so-called white man, because he is the harbinger of death. Okay, so the vessel that he is only for evil. Okay. And it pisses me off because you see these things, you know these things, and nobody has a problem with it except for the hopefully elect. And rightfully so, because, you know, we are children of the light. We're not children, you know, of the dark. And so we see these things and it's blatant to us, but to the rest of these other heathens and 2/3 of our people, it's just aggravating, you know. But all of this is going to be burnt up and done away with. But let me bring out one more quick scripture. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 6. It says, "For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth." For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth. And this is why you have plastics everywhere, and they are destroying life. Okay? Because Esau is artificial, is against life. He's a carnal man. He has a beast-like nature. Okay? It says, "And their hurtful works are fulfilled."
People with clogged blood vessels, cardiovascular disease, in the large vessels that feed their brain, when they took out the clog, right? So it's kind of like calling a plumber in to clean the drain. When they clean the drain and remove the plaque, the clogging of the blood vessels, they found that they could detect plastic embedded in the narrowing of blood vessels that would be feeding the brain. More importantly, they found a correlation. The people who had plastics embedded in their blood vessels had a 4 times increase in having a fatal heart attack or stroke.
Whoa.
Okay.
Now, who's creating plastics? I challenge Akim to look up how plastic is made. Who is creating plastics? Who are these companies? Why are they creating plastics? Because in ancient times, the elements, okay, were conductors of life. You had silver, spoons. That's why it's called silverware. because it's supposed to be made with silver, not nickel, not palladium, right? Not aluminum, right? You had gold. Okay, you go back to King Solomon. All of these were precious metals that were conductors of life, or even conductors of the spirit of life, which is in all things that are living. Okay, what Esau does is he takes things that are out of the earth and then changes them into something that doesn't have life. And so to see that these microplastics are literally filled all throughout our bodies and are the conductors of strokes, no one's going to be able to go to an autopsy or sue any of these companies, because all of these microplastics are everywhere throughout the earth. That's why the scripture says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. And the only way that you can depart this world in a spiritual sense, and ultimately, Lord will, in a physical sense, is through Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, being a part of the elect. Because once again, this is a form of death. Let's bring that out real quick. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine. What's that wine? Philosophies, pollutants, corruption, rebellion, okay? Sorcery, witchcraft. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hail, and is as death. Scripture calls him the border of wickedness and cannot be satisfied. You see, Esau, all he does is promote death. Everything on this side is death. It says, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Microplastics in the arteries of your brain. See, most people think that a stroke comes from your heart. Wrong. The stroke comes from your brain, because your brain doesn't have blood flowing to it, and it shuts down your brain. And when your brain ain't working, everything else ain't working, which causes a heart attack.
With clogged blood vessels, cardiovascular disease, in the large vessels that feed their brain. When they took out the clog, right? So it's kind of like calling a plumber in to clean the drain. When they cleaned the drain and removed the plaque, the clogging of the blood vessels, they found that they could detect plastic embedded in the narrowing of blood vessels that would be feeding the brain. More importantly, they found a correlation. The people who had plastics embedded in their blood vessels had a four times increase in having a fatal heart attack or stroke. Whoa. Okay, that's serious stuff. And when you go back to the kitchen, go root around your drawers and your cabinets, and anything that you might have once used to store leftovers, the plastic stuff, plastic containers, the plastic top, out it goes. All right, replace it with ceramic or glass.
And so, I mean, obviously, if brothers want to do that, go for it. It's just, there's no accountability to these companies creating these plastics, because all they have to do is now pay millions and millions of dollars to a certain organization, and the train keeps on moving. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come except there Salakia, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, destruction, death, pollution, corruption, artificial, okay, counterfeit. That's what these Edomites bring to the table, man. But he's being revealed. He's being revealed because he's about to be judged. Okay. This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. It says, this is Revelation chapter 11, verse 18. It says, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come in the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints who are Israelites. Okay. And them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. Okay. It's not just in a spiritual sense. Okay. Because this place is polluted. Because that is the philosophy of how Esau became wiser than Daniel, to build up this prison planet of death. But as the scripture says, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. So not just in a spiritual sense, but also in a physical sense. Because this whole earth is polluted, man. And constantly this place is being destroyed by Esau, the so-called white man. So that's all I wanted to go into. I'm going to read this a little bit for brothers that want to go do their own research, etc. It says plastic in arteries causing heart attacks and strokes. It says doctors are now discovering something terrifying inside clogged arteries, plastic particles embedded in blood vessels feeding the brain. Patients with plastic buildup had a 4 times higher risk of fatal heart attacks and strokes. These microplastics were found in plaque removed during surgery. Like calling a plumber to unclog your pipes. It says, where is it coming from? Your kitchen. Plastic containers, plastic lids, plastic wraps. And if you notice, everything in this world has a form of plastic, whether it be a hard plastic or whether it be a elastic plastic. And it just makes you look at things differently, man. Every time you use a microwave and you're microwaving something with plastic, now that plastic is in the food. I know brothers don't use microwaves all that often or whatever, but, for those, new brothers that may be coming in still utilizing, and it is what it is, man. But this is another reason why Esau, the so-called white man, is going to be judged right along with 2/3 of our people and the rest of these other heathen nations. Until next time, shalom.